Daisy and Garrett got swept in a mighty braid of a glacial river among chunks of ice and rock. After recovering, we hiked towards the source. Coming out of a huge lake sitting at the edge of a wall of ice, we found our first opportunity to use our rafts.
Rafting on a glacier in Alaska.
It rained on us nearly all the time. We were at near freezing temperatures, so we wore all of our layers and kept moving, stopping only when we were done for the day, retreating under our tarps to get away from the showers. We stayed high, crossing a pass and then climbing up to a ridge separating us from the next massive glacial valley. We crossed this one on foot, trying not to slip while looking down on the massive outflow several hundred feet below. Our new plan was to follow the maze of loose rock atop slick blue ice that make up the lower sections of the inconceivably massive glaciers that fill the upper valleys. The power of the land was inescapable.
We had to hike up higher on the glaciers because we realized that the river crossings were just too dangerous. It's nice though because you have to be totally lost in what you're doing. And I felt like when we were hiking on the glaciers, we were really lost in what we were doing.
That was one of the most surreal experiences. Remember when we were standing up on that glacier and just looking down on that huge lake and all that? That was fucking crazy. That was one of the most surreal experiences ever. Like, oh man. The vastness of it all.
This was a different trip where we're all like going into this, I think we view ourselves as like pretty hardcore hikers. We don't like taking 0 days, we hike as much of daylight as there is. And then one time after crossing our last glacier of the first leg, we come across an empty cabin. Yeah, we still got like 3 hours of daylight or something, but it's been raining all day. And there's firewood and a wood stove, and we're just like, who wants to hang out in a random cabin and dry off and like play a game of cards instead of hiking in the rain? And I think we all agreed, let's sleep indoors and dry our stuff and just hang out. I think a lot of the reason that the trip was still fun, despite getting our asses handed to us so thoroughly, is because we had an Alaskan experience. It wasn't the uninterrupted wilderness experience we were expecting, but we like hung out with gold miners and drank whiskey with them for a day, and we came across, you know, hunter cabins out in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, you have to adapt. And that's what we did. I don't know, maybe that was a turning point. I think that was a turning point in the trip when we all realized that we weren't going to be able to do it exactly the way that we had intended.
1, 2, 3. Bumble Club. So we finally made it out of the first section. a pretty big accomplishment in and of itself, honestly. But we absolutely have to cross the Delta River now, right across this highway, and my raft isn't working. Daisy's raft went down the river.
I felt like there was a very real possibility that it would have terminated then. And I felt like because I brought Steve back, like it was gonna happen.
Yeah, we called in reinforcements again. But it's like hitching. It's like you hitch on trails in the lower 48. You ask nice guys who offer rides across rivers.
Well, if the weather was going to be nicer and my brother wasn't visiting next weekend,
You would come too.
I probably would have invited myself along.
Oh, yeah.
Put in here, you just start paddling over left. The current you can see turns left up here.
Steve ferried our only remaining raft back over so that we could each cross the Delta River. And then our little Alaska Bumble Club was back alone together on the other side, with no way out but forward. We were armed with a week of food, and we pushed through tangled branches and spongy meadows towards the massive mountains ahead. It had been tempting to say that I'd had enough and left, but I couldn't help but to go back into that mighty range for more.